Right then, welcome to the channel. This is Maniacal Mac Chats. I'm with the one and only, the legend himself. You might know him as Mr. Sawyer. You may know him as Chip. You may know him as Mr. Bricks. But you should know him by his real name, the legend himself, VITO TRIGO. Thank you so much for coming and joining and doing this for me, man.
Well, thanks for having me, buddy. I mean, like I said before, you support me, I'll support you. So here I am.
Absolute legend. And second time lucky, because I gotta say, we tried this before. And my equipment went all dodgy, so thank you for your patience, man, because last time we went on for like, what, 3 hours, 15 minutes? So this is why we're doing this in segments. We learned. We learned, didn't we? We did.
It's quality assurance right there. Make sure that, you know, what we have is all good.
Exactly. So. Right, so a lot of people on my channel will know as you mainly as an actor. However, there are more things you've done. You know, you've also been a scriptwriter. You've actually directed as well. So before we actually go into any of your actual feature-length films, you started your hobbies, well, I say your hobby, your talent, your passion. It really started from like your high school days when you were kind of in theatre. Is that correct? Is that where it really started from?
Well, I mean, growing up, you know, I was just a kid who didn't really have any direction. I wasn't particularly good at anything, and because of my what's the word I want to look neurological differences, you know, you just didn't fit in. You know, I had a hard time connecting with people, and I was in a theater class, and I did a monologue. It was like we were assigned monologues. I just did it because, you know, what the heck, it's acting, you know. It should be fun. And we were assigned a monologue, and I remember I really got into it, and I really invested in it. And I remember I just learned this monologue about this man who was dying in a prison. And I remember I was so amped up, and I just decided to, okay, I was on stage, and I just decided to flop on the floor. I just flopped. I just did the monologue, and I was just like so into it, and I was like, yes, 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 and I thought I succeeded. And then the theater director was like, good job, good job. Couldn't see your face. Because I delivered it entirely to the floor. I was doing it all to the floor. And I was just like, oh, well, shucks. You know? You know, but I still felt good. And I didn't get any validation after that. So I was just kind of like, oh, shucks. There's another thing to, you know, throw in the pile of failures. And then a girl came up to me, and she was in the class, and she was like, I really liked it. I mean, we didn't see your face, but your voice, it was good. And I was like, oh. And she was like, you should try out for the one act play. And I was like, okie dokie. And I tried out for the one act play, and I got a part. Now, at this point in time, there wasn't a whole lot of like, it was more like, oh, you're here, good. Okay, throw you in there. You know,
oh, okay.
They just gave me a little part. It was like, it wasn't like, oh wow, we gotta beat everybody. No, you can't be in the play. You know, it wasn't like that at this time. So I got the part, and it was just like this little play. It's like little a comedy play about like people living in an apartment building, and I played Pasquale, the accordion player, and it was it was my first play. I was just so amped up and so nervous the whole time. And I was just reacting to everything. And I remember now this is my first time in like Texas theater. Where Texas theater is very serious. Very serious. Like you're timed, there's awards, I mean, there's everything. When the lights go off, you hear everyone's watches go off and things like that. Because like if you're off by a second, you're disqualified.
Oh, right.
You know? Oh yeah, it was Texas theater in the high school level was very serious. And I remember you get judged afterwards. You get critiqued to your face. To your face.
Okay, fucking hell. Okay.
So here I am, a young man, and I'm just there. I'm going by the seat of my pants because this program was in the middle school area, which I did not know anything about. So going into high school, I was just there like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I was like, why are we sitting down? Why was that man with the notepad? Wait, what's going on? I said, we're going to get critiqued now. But what?
Oh, right.
What's this word you speak at me? I was like, I was like, oh my God. And this guy was just going down the list of people. He's just like, being very critical of some people. And then like he got to me, Pasquale. Good job. He had a relationship with everyone on stage. I was like, wow.
Yeah, man, that's sick. Sick.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah, it was like that was like the first like I was like, wait a minute. It was like going to like that to equate it to like sports. It was like I went and I had a good play.
Yeah.
And everyone that you know what I mean? It was like that. It was like it's good job, good play, you know? Like I didn't make the touchdown, but I did a good play.
Amazing, man.
Yeah,
so was that the point
spark.
then? You were pretty. Yeah, I was going to say. There you go. You answered. That was a spark. How soon after that did you get straight back into like your next role in theatre then?
Well, I mean, that was like right. I mean, because right after that, it was summer. It was summertime, so it was just like everybody like the theater group kind of hanged out a little bit.
Get off of me, you furball!
Take care of him, kid.
And everybody was amping up. But at this time, we had a transition of teachers. The teacher that was there wasn't going to be there anymore, and we had this new teacher, and she shook everything up. Because I remember how I said like the other audition process. Oh, why must you try to steal the show every time? Why? Sheila, get out of here.
There was a glitch in the Matrix. You just pulled. Was that the same cat or two separate cats?
Yeah.
That was a.
Same cat.
That wasn't a glitch in the Matrix, no.
Oh, déjà vu.
What did you just say?
Nothing, just had a little deja vu.
What? That was
no
deja vu. No, okay.
Yeah. So she shook everything up. Remember how I said like I just came to the audition and they just kind of threw me apart?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, you need to bring a dramatic monologue, a comedy. You need to come. Like it was like, all of a sudden it got like very like, and everybody was like, this isn't fun anymore. And this was Mickey, my theater teacher, Mickey Pelletier. This is where I met her. Where this force of nature in my life, a titan in my life, if I could be so bold, was introduced by kind of like being like, we need this, that, and this. You need to do a monologue, and you need to, show me. So I was like, oh wow,
okay.
You know what I mean? It was like my first year with her. I didn't do a whole lot. I did a children's play, and I did the one act, the varsity one act. And I was crew, so I wasn't an actor in the big show.
Oh.
So I did the children's show, had a lot of fun, had that spark. I mean, the spark was still there, but I wasn't ready for the main show yet, and she didn't think I was.
Right,
so she put me in crew. Her whole thing was, you need to know both parts of it. You need to respect the crew side, and you need to respect the acting side.
Yeah.
She was very adamant about that. There's no better and or, because they work together. No one's going to see you act if there isn't a light shining on you.
Yeah.
You need to respect both.
Yeah.
And it works, and that transitions even to film. They set everything up so you can get the job done.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah.
So, I mean, these are the life lessons that get translated, that go over some people's heads, where they're like, I don't want to do that, but it teaches you things. It teaches you respect, cool. And that everybody's job is important. You got to work together. So, I did that, and I gave it like my all. I was really like, whatever was needed. I drank the Kool-Aid.
No!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh yeah!
Everybody else, some people were very like, they didn't like this, like, and I was there like, because I was chasing that spark that I gotten before.
Yeah.
And she was, the things she was saying made sense, and it made sense to me. So, and I remember like there was a commitment thing where she was like, during the one act, you cannot drink Coca-Cola. This is a commitment. Okay. This is a commitment. And it was just a thing. She wanted to like, install like, you got to commit to this. And that was like a visual. It was like kind of a way of like, hey guys, let's lay off Coca-Cola for like for the show. Even though it's a healthier thing, and apparently Coca-Cola affects your voice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, so there was a whole thing about that. Even if you got guys that be like, "Oh, I'm gonna drink some whiskey and I'm gonna go on stage," all that kind of stuff. But
I was just waiting for that, like, yeah.
yeah. So I remember that was a thing. But it was just kind of saying like something to focus on as a commitment,
Yeah.
And we did it, and then I remember she gave me at the end of that year in the class, we were doing one acts as part of the theater test at the end of the year. And I was like, okay, dokie. She's handing out scripts, and it was just like 5 people in the class. It was like this. It was like the advanced theater at this point, and I was like, oh, she's handing out. So I'm crew for this, and she's like, no, Vito, you're the lead. And I was like, what?
What?
Yeah, it was called Lila Rona. It was called Lila, like the movie that.
Oh yeah,
Lila Rona, like, but
yeah,
it was a play. It was a play
Woman,
version.
Isn't it? Kind of thing, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing the male lead, and my friend who recommended that I try out for the one act was playing Lila Rona, and
okay.
I remember like, oh wow, and I really got into it, and I was like, I want to, and I remember there was an incident where now at this time my brother was like the head actor. This is a little detail there.
Right.
My brother was like the best actor at the school.
Wow.
That's a little detail right there. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, never knew that.
So,
wow.
Yeah, and he was directing it. He was in the class too. He was directing it, and now one of the girls who was playing with these additional parts came to the rehearsal drunk.
Oh.
And she had like a classic, what would be a very like YouTube, Instagram Karen moment where she was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. This place sucks. And Vito, you're no good.
What?
You're not your brother. You can't do this.
No.
I'm just like,
no way.
Yeah. So she got, I remember they had to call security and take her out and everything. But then she still had to come to class though, but she just sat in the audience and Mickey was like, don't you say a word.
Fair play to her, mate.
Yeah. And then I did it, and then I got compliments afterwards where they're like, wow, Vito, such growth and all this kind of stuff. And it was just, seeing now the entire time that I was doing the one act, the varsity one act, the main one, I was listening to Mickey give notes to everybody else. Stand here, stand there, here you go, tension, move this, emphasize this word. It was like I was listening to her give notes. So when I wasn't just there waiting to do my job, I was absorbing the information that she was giving everybody.
Oh wow, fair play to you, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, where she'd be like, he's like, Fed, there's no reason why you should be stiff here. All these kind of things like, getting your body involved and here and there, all these things. And, like, Mike, you always go into a stance. Why do you always do that? Don't do a stance. Why are you standing like that? There's no reason for you to stand that way. Why are you it's your default mode, but it's too precise. It's to you. You have to find a way to do it as the character. And there were all these things like that where I was like, okay.
Oh wow, fair play to her. She's very knowledgeable lady.
Oh yeah.
Sounds of it.
Oh yeah. She was so good. And like I said, like after that, she would start teaching us different methods of acting in the class. She would do Stanislavski, and then she would do Stella Adler. She would do Sandy Meisner. All these different forms of acting to see, because she believed that there's no right way. There's what works for you, and there's what works for the project, and there's what works with the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I've had to be like, okay, the person I'm with is like super duper method, and they're like there, and they're not letting go. So I'm like, okay, let's roll, let's do this.
Okay.
You want to get method? Let's get method.
Ah, amazing.
You want to be easy going about it? Let's be easy going about it. So
Wow.
it's you flow, and you kind of like you don't sacrifice what you want to do, but at the same time you don't get so rigid that you can't be flexible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the best way to be. What was the play where your grandma saw you in, and she was in the front row as well? That was a quite amusing story, man.
That was that was The Sins of Sorwana, and that was actually that was a play that I did in high school, in the one act contest, that I wanted to do the full length play, and I mentioned that to Mickey. So it was like my sophomore year of college before the summer, and she emailed me, and she was like, Vito, I'm working at the local college now, and I'm gonna do Sins of Sorwana this summer.
Oh,
Full length play. I want you to come and I want you to play your part. And I was like, whoa. It was a second chance to really like flush it out. And I was like all over that like nobody's business. I was
amazing.
With bells on. I was there ready to go. And I remember we had to do the play, and I remember I just remember it just being so damn fun. So it was like so like like I said, it was like another spark doing that show that summer with Mickey. You're chasing that spark. I remember leaving the stage one night, and I was just like,
okay.
Like the fucking buzz. That's that you chase that. And the one night I remember my mom brought my grandmother, and I was doing my death scene. And oh Lord, oh man, she was like, no, mijo, no, not you, no. And I was like, oh God, grandma's having a moment. Oh damn. It's like, mijo, you're so good, mijo. No, I don't ever want to see you again like that, mijo. No.
Oh, bless it. Bless it, though.
Which I didn't understand till like later that, you don't, I don't know. I think I may have gotten that emotionalness from my mother's side of the family or something, because like I don't like to see my friends now in death scenes or anything like that. I remember Zach sent me a picture of him in a death scene, and I was like, I don't want to see that, dude. Yeah. I don't know. I've gotten soft in my old age. And even like Catherine Corcoran in Terrifier with her death. I couldn't watch that for the longest time. I was like, nope, can't watch that, sucker. Can't watch it. Skip over that. Oh, you're out of this? Okay, I'll come back in this movie later. I was like, okay. So I understand my grandmother's reaction to that, where you're like, I don't want to see it, especially in a theater where you're like, the visceral nature of seeing something actually being performed in front of you. I was like, I get it now, Grandma. I get it now.
Wow,
so
bless, man. Well, like, shortly after theatre, you actually started getting into short movies, which, funny enough, it was only like last night, and one this morning that I watched that you showed me, sent over for the first time. Were they like sort of like some of the first projects you ever worked on film-wise, even though they're only short films? Were they some of the first short films you ever did?
No, the first ones I did in college were with Gregory King, who I would do Blood at Sundown with, and
right,
and Dark Windows.
Okay.
Now, me and Greg just met up, and we did a short, and it was like it's like you're doing something, and you're like trying to play to the camera, and you're like, where's the camera? I remember watching like one of the first ones I did. Is like, oh God, stop playing to the camera, Vito, just be in the moment. It was like so critical. I learned a lot of things in these like little things that we did, and but it was Blood at Sundown was the big thing. Blood at Sundown was the big.
Well, talking of, was that 2006? I believe that was released, wasn't it? Blood at Sundown, was it?
Yeah, we filmed it. Yeah.
So let's talk about this one. This is technically your first feature-length film, mate. And you're the main actor, but not only that, is this the one you actually did the screenwriting for as well? I think, didn't you?
Yes. Now, Greg had done. Now, there's the intro of the film, where the young lady is throwing out the trash and then she gets snagged.
Yeah.
he filmed that separately. He just filmed that as a thing he did, just to like, to flex his filmmaking muscles,
Okay.
Which, by the way, Greg is a great filmmaker, and I hope maybe one of these days we'll do something. But he showed me that, and I was like, "Where's the rest of the movie? Where's the rest of the movie? I'm intrigued. Where's the rest of it?" And I kept pestering him about it, and we did other little things. And I kept pestering him about it, and once again, the summer came, and he was just like, "You know what, Vito? Just write it, and we'll work on it." So I was like, being asked to write something, I was just sort of like, boom, 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 boom. Like I said before, it's just like, oh my God, because I have ADHD, and I was just there like, this is so fucking hard to do. And I wrote it, bammed it out, gave it to him. He had some suggestions and some changes, and did some dilly dallies and made it make sense. And then we filmed Blood at Sundown. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Fair play. Because, as I said, it's like you can actually find it on YouTube, innit? Blood at Sundown. It's actually on YouTube at the moment, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fair play, man. Like, and for your first film, I said it was like there was some big efforts in it. You were having parts where you were having shootout scenes. You it wasn't just like when you think of someone's first film, you think, oh, maybe 1 or 2, 3 actors at most. But in this, you had quite a cast. You had quite a crew of people behind you. Quite a few people got involved, didn't it? For this one, to be fair.
We it was kind of like treating it like a play. We held auditions. People came, say, hey, fuck you, fucking pig, all that kind of shit. We had people with he had a little arsenal of fake guns, which I think we would have been like, you can't have that on campus, right? You know what I mean? Like, it was a time when you couldn't. I mean, we probably couldn't have been carrying around fake guns, as we did then. But we had the rehearsal process, and I remember having these 2 guys, and I had to wrestle them. When C got to that, they had me up against the wall, and I had them in headlocks, and I was like, okay, this has gone too far. But just like how when I was younger and I flopped on the stage as my reaction, these guys had the reaction of okay, if we're gonna do this, let's just go. Because you have some people that's their reaction. They just kind of go all out, and you have some people that are timid, that need to get it pulled out of them. Like these 2 guys, I'm over here. So,
fair play to them,
which I appreciate. So,
well, saying as I said, you can find this film on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in watching yourself, viewers. But then the following year, 2009, you did a film, Dark Windows. But what did you learn from doing Blood at Sundown that really sort of made you make Dark Windows? Because Dark Windows is pretty much your own work. You directed this one as well, didn't you, my friend?
What? Dark Windows? No, I didn't direct Dark Windows.
You wrote it, sorry, my friend. That's sorry, you wrote it, didn't you, this one? So this is again, on IMDb, technically this is your first film, although Blood at Sundown is. So what did you take from Blood at Sundown, sort of to inspire you more so than anything to actually write Dark Windows?
Well, in Blood at Sundown, there is in this compound scene where a SWAT team is coming in, and it's a big shootout between the bad guys in the movie and the SWAT team. Now, on paper, that was a 4-person shootout, in a hallway with the guns, and it was very Brian De Palma, very up close, being playing the tension, being all that kind of stuff, oh, save your bullets, kind of way of the gun type of deal. And and Gregory wanted to go bombastic. He wanted something intense. He wanted something kind of Ridley Scott-esque, And I applaud him for that. I applaud him for shooting for the stars, giving it a shot. I mean,
yeah. I
was against it. I'll be honest. I was against it because I was well, this. I was oh, but he won't do that. And but I mean, I was there with him because you learn compromise, But even you still gotta you don't want to hinder the process because you don't agree with it. You still give it 100%. Yeah. I was there behind him throwing debris You know, 'cause I wasn't in that scene, so I was there throwing debris, was helping him film stuff. Was like, you know, I was right there. I mean, I try to look at this photo where there's like me, literally like right behind him as he's like filming it, throwing debris. I was like looking all over for that photo because I know that photo exists, and I was like, "Where's this photo?" So
Fair play. Well, I said it's a great first effort, mate, for a film, if I'm being honest with you. Like, you know what I mean? For your first feature-length film, I think, like, everyone done well, you know what I mean? I've seen so many first feature-length films from people that's not even close, to be honest with you. So I reckon you guys should be pretty proud of what you've done for your first ever feature film, so to speak, man.
well, I mean, that was like I think on the filmmaking level, that was another spark. You know, where I was like, "Ooh, look what we did," you know.
Yeah.
And you want to chase that. I want to chase that again because that was probably the first like little victory on film. You know, we set out to make a little movie. We made it. We premiered it to the school. They came in the theater and watched it and everything, and everybody kind of like, you know, they got into it and they clapped and everything, and I was like, wow, you know, that was a thing.
That's amazing.
Now that I think about it. See when you rethink things, the little details pop up. You're like, oh yeah, we did do that. Yeah.
Certainly. So in 2009, then Dark Windows, the film that you wrote yourself, what was the process of this one? Was this one with your own idea? Did someone come up to you and say, look, you know, let's make a film together? How did this start? Was this like basically from your thoughts and then you approach people, or did people approach you to get involved in this one?
Well, this is where my long time friendship and collaboration with Justin Martell would really start. I did some other projects with Justin. He helped out and co-produced Blood at Sundown, and we did other things. And in between Blood at Sundown and Dark Windows, we did a little comedy, and that was really fun. We had a great time. And he was like, "Let's do a horror film," you know. Okay. So it came from like the genesis of wanting to just do a horror film. And I was like scouring the internet, looking for something interesting, looking for something that we can go through, throwing ideas at him. He would throw things back, and I would just kind of there be writing, you know, and I wrote it, and then I gave it to him to format it and make it screenplay things. He would suggest things, he would add things here and there, you know, but it was like, so we did it together. But it's like I say, I got the writing credit because I was like figuring out a lot of plot stuff, and he was helping me flush out those ideas and really make it more. So
right, okay.
Like in the trailer, you see like Anton Peck with like he's got candles in his hands and everything. You see like this big frame on the page. It was very simple. It was just like candles around her. But then Justin found this like metal frame there on set, and he like put her in it. He was like, "This looks cool. Let's do this." And it accentuated an idea, you know. Yeah. Because like I said, I've said this before to you, and I'll say it again. Justin is a super producer, and I think a super producer can come in there and accentuate and make something that's good on paper even better. You know, that's the thing they do. Like they're like, let's try this, let's do that. I mean, I think that's what a super producer, and I do think of him as a super producer. That's no ass sucking. That's how I think of him, as a super producer.
Fair play to him, but it's just great he got involved in that then, yeah, because he obviously took like some of the ideas there and, as you said, added his flavour to it. So again, that's a project I haven't seen myself yet, so I'm hoping sometime down the line I will get to see that one though, mate. But you know, again, that was one of your first works, wasn't it, ever, really? Like, again, Blood at Sundown, first feature, but this is also a feature-length movie as well, isn't it?
Hey, you got me when I was like mid sip.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I was trying to be like, wait on me.
Quick, like, yeah.
Yeah, it was feature length, and then after a lot of editing and a lot of like, you know, my buddy Jeff Cornell, he directed it and edited it. And I remember like after college, us like sitting in a room, like looking at edits and everything and changing things around and everything. You know, after a lot of edits, then like, we got to put it out on DVD. Or just to put it out on DVD. So, and that's why it's on IMDb and everything. So
makes sense. That's why then. All right. Well then, the following year we've got you on IMDb. It's only a short here. It's called My Dearest Judith, where you play Lieutenant James Hotchkiss. What was that one about? Exactly. Because you have got some funny stories on this one as well, my friend.
I mean, this was a Civil War story about a man who was writing his like dying letter to his dying letter. Letter. Where'd that come
Letter.
from? Red leather, yellow leather, red leather. Letter to his wife, Dearest Judith, and it was basically like it was all stills, so we would get the whole and take a photo and everything, and that's like I remember I shaved very carelessly. I shaved, and then I saw the costume, and I was like, oh, dude, I could have looked like Matthew Broderick in Glory, man, with a freaking big old mustache. Why did I shave? I don't know why I shaved. I think because I had it in my head that he was like a young man. And I was like, oh, no, man, I should have kept that. It would have really looked, especially with the way that they were doing it. It was like still shots. And it was like, very narration heavy and everything from what I remember. And because I haven't seen it in forever. But I remember it was butt-ass cold. It was butt-ass cold. And it was in Vermont. And here's a fun detail for you. I was the train station I had to go to was in Connecticut, which is another state. So we were packing up to leave, and everybody was worried about a snowstorm coming. And we're like, well, we better leave now then. So we got in the car, me and my buddy Doug, who drove me to, he lived in Connecticut. So it was kind of like, oh, here we go. So we're driving to Connecticut, and all of a sudden, a snowstorm hits. Oh. And we're in there for a bit and everything, and all of a sudden, I don't know when it happened, but the car went off the road. What? And we got stuck. We got stuck for a bit.
Oh shit.
And I remember we were just there on the side of the road for like a very long time, waiting for someone to come get us. And then we get out of the car, and there's this fire truck coming down the road. Now, Vermont is like a very in the middle of nowhere place. So all you got is trees everywhere. So you think about it. We're stuck in the middle. Yeah. We're stuck on the side of the road. We see this fire truck. We're like, hey, a fire truck. And all of a sudden, the fire truck does this. Straight. Whoa. Down the road like that. It literally just kind of went like that. It was kind of like, oh my God. And we're both there standing in the middle of the road. And I'm like, Doug, move.
Oh shit.
I get nothing. Doug has already jumped into the fucking woods. I'm just there like, what the, oh shit! Leave me in the freaking road, why don't you?
Christ, man, that sounds mental, bro.
Yeah, after that whole business of us being out there and like we couldn't make phone calls, but we could update on Facebook. So every few years I see like the old out here in the woods, when they say Facebook memories. Yeah. It pops up of me going stuck in the woods.
Shit.
Plays Halifax. But then eventually, a random ambulance came that was just kind of coming down, checking the roads, and got us out and everything.
Oh, okay.
And we went along our way. We went back to the hotel from whence we came, and then the next day we went to Connecticut.
Bloody hell, that's a mission and a half, mate. That is fair play to you both.
Yeah, that was the trials and tribulations of filming a small film in the middle of nowhere.
Wow. Hats off to you,
that's a little extra story we didn't have the first time.
Dedication, my friend. So, the following year, 2011 then, Mr. Bricks, a heavy metal musical. Literally, as the title says, this is a musical. As I said, when I watched the trailer the first time, I was like, oh, is this a tease? Is it going to be a musical? But when me and Hibbs watched it, definitely a musical. You play Officer Dukes in this one. So... what was the inspiration in this one? Was it I've never... But although I say you've never done a musical, I found out when you sent me them short films over, you've technically done a musical prior to this, so this brings all a new aspect to it. Was that part of I want to do a feature-length musical? What was it that really attracted you to this role?
Well, I mean, this one was my buddy Justin Martell had... We at this point we were living in New York together. We were living in Queens, New York, and just a good old 20-minute walk down the road was Troma Entertainment.
Oh, was it?
And Justin saw that they were applying that the assistant position for Lloyd Kaufman was open, so he applied for it. He got it. So
oh wow,
he was working at Troma, and the in-house editor Travis Campbell had a script. and they sparked up a friendship. And he was like, "Hey, I have this script that I'm just sitting on, not doing anything with, called Mr. Bricks, heavy murder. See, it's hard thing to say, isn't it?
It is.
Mr. Bricks, heavy metal
Heavy
murder
metal
musical. There you
murder
go.
musical.
There you go. Hard to get out. So he decided he was going to do it. Now, at this point, I was not involved at all. I wasn't going to be in it. And they were doing a read-through with other actors, and Justin was like, "Can you read in?" And I read the part of Dukes, and the director, he liked what I was doing. Justin liked what I did, and they were like, "You should play Dukes." And I was like, "Okay, I'll play Dukes." So,
Amazing.
you know, it was weird. It was kind of like, okay, I'll play Dukes. It was one of those weird moments when I was like, I don't know. If you want me, okay, I'm there. I don't know what it was.
Oh, fair play. Well, in my opinion, they couldn't have chose better, mate. You've done a fantastic job at Dukes. And this one, this ain't the first time, as I said, and this won't be the last time as well, but your character is generally singing on this one. And I do make a comment about it going, that's not Vito's voice. Who is it you said that actually did your voice for the singing on this, man? Are we going to get another number?
Bet your ass.
There's no S Vito's voice, bro. No way.
Quick punch to the wall, quick punch.
Yeah, smack it up, Vito. It's on beat. It's on beat as well, bro. Betray the badge? No, it's Vito's turn. Go on, Vito. That's definitely not Vito's voice. That's definitely not, man.
The question for
It's definitely. I'll ask you. That's not Vito, is it?
Travis Campbell, the director.
It was the director
and
himself who
co-writer.
did it.
Yes, director.
Oh, right,
I
okay.
thought I did a pretty good job of playing, like, you know, like forgive.
Yeah.
I thought I could have done it. I thought I could have done it. You know, forgive nothing. No, I thought I could have done it. I thought I could.
Did
I
you
mean,
ever
it was
like
like, you know, it
say?
was.
Did you ever say to him, "Oh, let me at least just try a take and just see"? Did that ever happen?
He gave a lot of my suggestions a shot, you know. So I mean, not to give me that one. I'm like, okay. He gave me a lot of freedom with the role. I had a lot of suggestions, and he like it was a good working relationship, you know, where I would offer suggestions and he would hear them out and he would like them. So it was nice.
Yeah,
You know.
that's good, man.
I got a story for you. Now,
Let's hear it.
in the movie, I get my head smushed. You know? Yes.
I know,
So-
man. I know. It kills me every time.
So, and they were doing a cast of my head. Like, they were doing a cast of my head that was going to be used later. And for some reason, I was playing with the handcuffs that we had. We had handcuffs. And I clicked them. I got the stuff on my head. I'm just there like,
Woohoo! You like the freaky stuff, huh? That's cool.
and I was like, hey, it's not coming out. I was like, those are real handcuffs. I was like, oh, crap. Oh, crap. And we had to film later. So I was like, I can't film with handcuffs on me. What the hell? So they finished up the makeup stuff, you know, and so it was like, I was like, what are we going to do? And I was like, we were going to film the big fight scene between me and Tim Dax at the end of the movie. So I definitely can't have handcuffs on me then.
Yeah.
So we like screamed like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I was like, and my buddy Jeff was like, let's go to Home Depot. We can get some pliers. We can get something. We can get them off. I was like, okay, let's go.
No
We
one
were
had
all running.
the key.
We-
No one had the key or nothing.
No one had the key. I was like, why do we have handcuffs with no key? That was my whole thing. I was like, why do we have handcuffs with no key? And how come nobody told me we didn't have a key when I was playing with the handcuffs? You know. Now it's my fault for not asking if there was a key. But in my head, I assumed like if we have handcuffs, we have to have a key.
You would assume, yeah.
You know, why would we bring handcuffs, actual handcuffs with no key?
Oh.
And so we went to Home Depot and we thought we were going to have to buy a pair of pliers. And there was a guy working there who was like, oh, you don't need to buy that. If that's the issue. We explained the whole handcuff thing. He's like, oh, just put your hand here. You have this thing right here. The thing they use to cut chains, cut that. And boom. Like
Oh,
there was like a
okay.
half an hour there of like this really big stressful moment. I was like, I can't do a fight scene. I can't do the fight scene if I have this freaking handcuff on me, you know. So,
Oh, fair play.
but that was the story there. And also like leading into the fight scene with Tim Dax, which is a funny thing, because the makeup girls were in my ears saying like, "Aren't you worried that Tim's gonna hurt you?" Because Tim had a little bit of a thing where he got overzealous, you know, get really into it, and would kind of be really physical with the actors. So they were putting it in my head that he was going to hurt me.
Oh,
you know,
right.
They were putting it in my head, and plus, actually, my brother, who's in the movie, who plays the guy that gets the, you know,
What do you over his head?
Glass.
Yeah, it looked like, didn't it? Oh, the glass bottle.
Oh.
Ah!
he gets stabbed in the throat. He actually got punched in the face by Tim Dax. So when they said that,
Oh,
I was
shit,
like,
really?
yeah, he got punched a little bit in the rehearsal. They were like, he like clipped him, and he was just there like, and my brother is actually knows jujitsu and everything, and he was just there like, he's like, so I know, but so like I was like, it was one of those weird moments when I was just there like, I got very amped up. I was very like, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this. I ain't going down. I ain't going down. Let's do this. And I remember, like, on the spot, we came up with that bit where he hits me with the big orange thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around from
Now-
around the, it sounds
yeah.
like probably around the corner and he smacks you in there.
Now, I remember somebody said, like, oh, that doesn't hurt. I was like, well, actually, it does hurt when somebody flings it into you and you're running at full speed. All right. But I nailed it and got back up and nailed it. We did it again, like 3 times. I was there like, let's do this. Let's do this. I was just there like, because he was like, and I remember, I don't know what it was, but I was just like, I'm not going to let you, I mean, you might be winning this fight, but I'm going to be there every step of the way.
Yeah.
And I
amazing.
remember it got to a point when, like, I remember we were doing the punches back and forth, and I was going fast. And he was like, cut there. I remember he was just there like, ooh, oh, could somebody ask Vito to... Basically, I did the equivalent of, like, I wore him down because he wasn't as fast as me.
Fair
So,
play. If
big
only we
muscles don't know
saw
how to
the
breathe,
footage,
baby. Big
if
muscles
we
don't know how to
didn't see
breathe.
the footage he didn't put in, you would have technically won that fight, mate, and that would have been a whole different.
Actually, when I
ending.
got him down on the floor, that's when he was just like, oh. I put my knee on him. That's when he kind of like was like, okay.
Tap
Like,
out,
he was just
tap out.
like, he was like, give me a break, Vito. I'm not as limber as you. I remember him saying that. He's like, I'm not as limber as you.
Oh,
so-
fair play,
And I
mate.
think it was just because the makeup girls, they put it in my head that he was gonna hurt me. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna kick my own ass. I'm not gonna get hurt. So
But then, like, this is a decent fight scene, to be fair, so it shows on screen as well,
Oh.
so it's a good way you approach it that way, mate, to be honest, you know, it actually
yeah.
hold it off on screen.
And I choreographed that with my brother, actually, now that I speak about it. Yeah, we worked it out together, and then we presented it to Travis and Tim and, you know, all the kind of stuff here and there, you know?
Oh,
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, hats
Actually, I
off,
remember
mate.
there was one moment in the fight that was like done on the spot. There was something where I think he kicked at me. He kicked at me when I was on the floor, and I popped right back up and like pulled his head back.
Yeah.
That was an improv moment.
Well, we're getting into some fist fighting, bro. Yeah, go on, Vito, strangle the fucker.
That wasn't
Oh.
choreographed, because he kicked me. He kicked me when I was down. That was he just threw that in there,
Right,
and I just
oh,
reacted
shit.
to that and got back up and was like, boom, you know.
Oh, right. That's awesome.
Well, that's what I meant by like there was that where he would like get amped up and he would, you know, he didn't do it maliciously. It wasn't a bad thing. He would just kind of lose it a little bit.
In the moment. He's in the moment,
Yeah,
isn't
in
he?
the
He's in his
moment.
character,
In the
and
moment.
he's just like,
Like,
yeah,
he just
I get
threw the
that,
kick, and I was like, "Why are we throwing a kick?" You know.
yeah.
But you know, so I remember like that was a moment there where if you watch that moment, that's like a nice little moment though, because it was like.
Yeah, fair play. Like I said, that's why I was saying about the fighting actually pretty good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was under the assumption it took you a good few takes to get the best takes in because it looks pretty decent overall. Fair play.
Yeah, I think he was also like when we were doing the punches, I actually hit him a few times.
Oh, was it?
But well, I think because it was one of those things because he kicked me.
Yeah.
And he'd been very physical before, so I thought it was all okay until he started saying like, "Bring it down." And I was like, oh, "Okay." I thought we were okay. It was because I seen him do all these other stuff, so I was like, "Okay, okie dokie."
Oh, fair play.
You said you gave me the word. I'm done. Okay. We'll play it even Stevens now.
Right. So in 2013, you did a short called GunDick Cocked and Loaded. You also play a character called Dukes, who's also an officer. Was this inspired from the Mr. Bricks character in any way? Because you only show up at the end, but what was the story about getting involved in that one, sir? Yay, Vito! Here we go! He's like, whoa, what the fuck?
Put your fucking hands up!
Oh, here we go.
Hey, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
The hard way. Well, that's a bad thing to say while he's got a hard on.
Or hard way.
No, don't Vito. And he just cocked his gun and they shot at him and he ended like that. I know it was a short film, but guys, like, that would have been such a funny fucking... Another 5 minutes of just, like, the end scene.
Now, this was filmed after Return to Nukem High. So, on the timeline of things. Came out before, because it's a short. So, I had met Seeger Harrison Dixon on Return to Nukem High. He was the art director. We sparked up a friendship, and he was doing the short GunDick, and he was like, "Hey, can you be in it?" You know, and so Zach was there, and so me and Zach came at the tail end of the short film, and we just kind of came out and was like, you know,
Yeah.
it was intense for a second, you know. It was one of those things where like you're hanging around all night to do one little thing, but I was with Zach. I was helping out a buddy. No biggie.
So, whose idea was it to call a character Officer Dukes? Was that the director's, like, or...
It was Seeger, because like I had no idea my character's name was Dukes. I was Cop 1 in the script.
Oh, respect.
He was a fan. He was a fan of Mr. Bricks. I think he was one of like the wait. I could swear he was probably one of the first people on IMDb to write a good review about Mr. Bricks.
Oh, was it? Oh, fair play to him.
I think it was. No, because I remember like looking at the reviews one day, and I was there like, "Oh, it's a nice review," and it said like Dixon something, and then later on, I put the 2 and 2 together. I was like, "Wait a second." So it was one of those things where I was.
Guy then, man.
Yes. So.
Well, in a way, then, bro, I know he would have been so happy working with you if you like Mr. Bricks and going, "Oh, I really like this guy and got to work with you, man." That must have meant a lot to him as well, I bet, then, bro.
Oh yeah, well, except because we sparked the friendship on Return to Nukem High, so.
Well, talking of then, because GunDick was only a short, there's not really too much to talk about. Watch my review if you want to watch it. I did find it funny, to be honest, like, you know what I mean? But you're only in there really at the very end. So let's talk about Return to Nukem High, Volume 1. Because if my older audience out there, you're like, hold on, Nukem High, back in the day, was it late 80s or early 90s when he'd done Class of Nukem High? This is a successor
80s.
to them from back in the day. So Return to Nukem High, which came out in 2013, you play a role of Leonardo. As I mentioned earlier, this is like, technically now, what I've seen, the third time you've been like singing your character as a singer, so to speak, like, isn't he? I think this is the third time from what I've seen. He plays like a little like nerd, he's all singing. And then the whole 180 happens once he gets infected and becomes an absolute beast of a cretin. So let's talk about Leonardo, man. Let's talk about, because it's a Troma film, and it's a pretty well-known Troma film. Big up to you getting involved in this for the start, mate.
Now after Mr. Bricks, I entered this very low period where I was second-guessing myself. I was second-guessing, being an actor, my talent, if I had talent, all this kind of things where I was like... I just was not sure about anything. It was like really, really low. But my buddy, Justin Martell, was producing Return to Nukem High. And he was like, dude, I need you to come audition. I need you to get off your ass and come audition. You need to do this. And, you know, after that nice little pick me up, I went and I auditioned. And now the lovely thing about Troma is it's come as you are. They love to fill the screen with interesting people. You know, so interesting faces, interesting walks of life. Everybody, they're just kind of like how like Sergio Leone would like, you know, like take an interesting person's face and really focus on it in a movie. Troma does that with their background. You know, I guess we just want interesting people. You know, all walks of life. You know, smorgasbord of, you know, so you can come and you can, you know, tell a joke, you can tell a story, you can just talk. Now, me being me, I had a monologue in my back pocket that Mickey was always like Vito, always have a monologue, so you can, you know, be like, hey, especially if you don't. She said this, like, especially if you feel like you didn't do a good reading, ask him if, hey, can I do this monologue? You know. So I had this monologue in my back pocket, and I did it, and I was, you know, and I remember seeing Chelsea Holland, who was the casting director, perk up in her seat a little bit. It was like, oh, a monologue.
Nice.
And, you know,
okay.
and she was very thorough. She was very like, we are looking for the best people to play these parts. You know, and she was, you know, casting director is a very underrated job. It's a very underrated job. People don't get enough focus on that. And she did a great job, and she put together a great cast. And she wanted me to come back and read for the part of Leonardo, who on the paper was named Brick.
Oh.
And
Right.
I came back and I did it, and they were very happy. And like almost right away, they wanted me in the movie. Which was a nice pick me up.
Wow.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. And I was contemplating it, and Justin was just kind of like, I need you to do this. I need you to come to hell with me. Come on. Come to hell with me, man. Now this is because we would watch the behind the scenes documentaries of Troma films. And, you know, those are very, like, you know, like, it was like this preconceived notion of what a Troma film was like. And sometimes a little hectic, sometimes a little crazy. So he was like, come to hell with me. You know?
Amazing.
So I was like, okay, buddy, let's go to hell.
Amazing, man. Because, like, on this film, is this the first time that you actually met Lloyd Kaufman in person then, when you actually worked on this film?
No, actually, I met him at the tail end of Mr. Bricks. He did a cameo on Mr. Bricks because
That's right, yeah.
Because they were filming Mr. Bricks. We were filming Mr. Bricks under the nose of Troma. But then Troma got wind of it, and so they're like, "Hey, I'll do my."
Right, I see.
That was the first time I met Lloyd, and then I was in Return to Nukem High, and he was. It was Return to Nukem High where like my relationship with Lloyd would really spark. You know, it was a back and forth of creative ideas. Let's put it that way. I remember he wanted to put. There was something going on with like. Now, the look of Leonardo was a big thing. Like they did not have it. There was no idea how it was going to look.
Oh.
I was a Cretan. It was like we were there. Like it was like the first week it was there before like the Cretan scene actually happened, because there was Glee scenes before like before the big Cretan scenes, and I remember it was like we were like going back and forth. There was like putting like a Nukem logo on my face. There was all these kind of stuff, and we were like, I remember it was like after midnight being asked, "Hey Vito, can you come downstairs? We want to do some makeup tests." Now this is when we're living in the funeral home at this point. I'm at the funeral home at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we're at the funeral home at this point, and I just remember being like taken downstairs in the basement, and they were just doing makeup tests, and I was like, "Let's do this. Let's figure this out," because they were very, very particular about what Leonardo would look like. Now I remember like Asta and Katie were talking about how like they had so much freedom with their appearance and everything, and they're like, we were so free flowing. Not me. I was taken down to the basement at like after midnight doing makeup tests because they couldn't, because I was like
Taken down the
it wasn't
basement,
like
wait there. There's more to this story. Where was the cage? What happened there, mate? Were you like chained up to walls? Taken down the basement after midnight? What the fuck?
What? Actually, the funeral home in Buffalo was actually a funeral home that was a front for mafia. May have been a front for the mafia. They may have disposed of, dead bodies of like, of that certain nature there. So there was a bit of a vibe in the funeral home. People were very convinced that it was haunted, and I was like, it's not haunted. It's just old and there's vents everywhere. Yeah. So if somebody's taking a shit over here, you can probably hear it over there. All right, that's what's going on. Let's not get crazy now. I'll be the first one to say, I'm like, this place is unclean. There was a vibe in the place, but I don't think any evil spirits were hanging around.
This is also the film you met Liam Regan as well, isn't it? I believe.
Oh,
the
yes.
first time you met Liam as well, which we'll talk about in future episodes, by the way, so I want to bring him up now. But yeah, with Liam on this one, there was a story about how you kind of bonded, wasn't it, really?
Oh, yes. There was the camera department and the special effects department were having a big blowout because they were not getting along and they needed to have a big pow, and it was very tense. And I was like, well, that's not really my fight, so I'm not going to like linger around. So I had a Three Faces of Foley DVD, wrestling DVD, and I decided to play it in the little break room area. And everyone sat down, and Liam was there, and Troma Dan were there, and we're just gonna watch wrestling. Because I'd rather watch this fake fighting than that real fighting. Because it was like, because there was no reason for us to be there, because it was things that that weren't 100% directed with us. It just would have looked kind of like because there were already people gathered around watching, and there was no need for us to be there because it was between the camera crew and the special effects department. So it was like, I bet. But we sat in a room and watched wrestling, and that was, one of those little seeds of friendship right there. So
amazing. So as I said, we will talk more about Liam in future episodes. This is more of a little teaser for this one. But also talking about bonding with friendships here, this is the time when I guess you and your best bud Zach kind of like you met each other prior to this, but this is when you truly, really became best friends, would you say? Yeah, it's a lovely story, this one, man.
Yeah, like I remember we ran into each other at the Troma office, and then leading up to coming to the funeral home, he saw that I posted a picture of my cats. Like there was like there was a wrestling DVD, and he was like, "Oh, I have that one." So it was like a little thing there where, because he was a wrestling fan, I was a wrestling fan, you could talk wrestling with, because there is a lovely community within the wrestling community where you can come from different backgrounds and just kind of groove with each other. I remember sitting on subways where I'd have a wrestling hat on and someone would be like this, "Hey man, simple as can be," because you were put in this like area of like, "Oh, you like wrestling? My God, you are of lower intelligence. How can you like wrestling?" So when you're with wrestling fans, you bond and you click, because you've been told your entire life you're ridiculous for liking something, and it's like so when you find people that have your common interests, just like in anything, in horror and sports or something, you bond. And I remember I came into the funeral home, and he literally like guided me to his spot on the floor of the funeral home. So he's like, you can stay right here. Let me move my trash. And so I slept next to him the whole time, and he was my buddy. He's my best friend. He's my best good buddy. And I've always described it as he was the best friend that I wish I had growing up.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, because it was just a combination. I had other great friends and other best friends, but there was always like, all the boxes weren't checked. With him, all the boxes are checked. Like acting, performer, wrestling, you know, all these things were just checked off. You know, you could literally just like, you know, just sit on a couch and just do nothing and just hang out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
which goes to prove it, mate, because you were actually best man at his wedding, weren't you, as well, my friend?
This is not something I can follow up that stuff right there. I can't. So, I was there for the inception of these two. And God, it was a wonderful thing. It was wonderful. I remember seeing them together and just like, oh wow, that is fucking love right there. That is love. Inspired me to open up my heart, and a little bit after that, I found my wife.
Aww.
Because I kind of gave up a little bit there, and you two re-inspired that for me. So thank you. I don't think I've ever told you that, but thank you. I mean, Dr. Minko, I've known you for 7 years. 7 wonderful, weird, unique years. And in that time, you have been my brother. A true brother. Look at me, Pastor. You are my brother. At my lowest of times, you picked me up. And even across the damn country, you still do that for me. The distance between doesn't mean shit. We're family and we'll always be family. And Amanda. Oh, Amanda. Amanda, you're a guy. I'm honest with you right now. You are a blessed soul. Not because you're a teacher, you do one of the hardest jobs in the world, taking care of youth. And somehow it's translated to him. I'm saying right now, you're a beautiful person. It's like, what? Just say, you're a beautiful person. I'm so glad that you're in his life. And also mine. What's up, all right, so one more time, just for fun and shits and giggles. The newlyweds, keep them on!
Oh yes, I was best man, and I also officiated. So I married him and his wife.
Oh, you
I had-
officiated as well? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I
thought you were
officiated.
just
Well,
a-
I did
What?
double duty. True
Wow.
indie style. I did double duty.
That's amazing, bro.
So-
I didn't know that. Ah, awesome,
Oh yeah,
bro.
I am a minister of the Universal Church. So
Ah, fair play. That's amazing, bro.
yeah, parking
That's
permit and
absolutely
everything. I could probably bust that shit out if I wanted to. Be like, hey, I could park here. You know.
amazing.
So. And then he was best man at my wedding.
That's correct. So let's talk about a bit more about this actually. Sort of your wife Kelly. What was the original project you actually met her on?
That's farther down the line. It was like she was doing additional editing on Pigpen, and
That's
I
right,
was
that was the
filming
original.
Assassinats. So that's a little bit farther down the line if you want to wait on that one.
Yeah, we'll bring that story up. There's beautiful stories to tell on that one. That's beautiful to come. So with Return to Nukem High, again, like, was there anything, I'm trying to think now, because you have covered a lot of it, was there Return to Nukem High Volume 1 where you, as the Cretan, take out the one copper who was an original Cretan in the original series, or was that Volume 2?
Oh yes,
Was that
Yes.
Volume 1 or 2?
yeah. That was Volume 1. Now this was the Robert Pritchard, who played the original lead Cretan in Class of Nukem High.
Yeah.
He was coming on set to play a cop who just kind of, you know, just gets the Cretans out of the lair. Now, a friend of mine, Bjarni, had this idea where he was like, what if you say, Vito, what if you said, we're the youth of tomorrow and shoot Pritchard?
Hey! What is with the youth of today?
We're the youth of tomorrow.
Oh, okay. That was his idea.
You could shoot Pritchard. We suggested that idea. That idea got shut down. Now this is what would spark the friendship between me and Drew Bolduc. with Direct
Here we
Science
go.
team later on, I've mentioned that they shot down the idea of me, Leonardo, new Lee Creedon shooting old Lee Creedon, and he was like, "That's bullshit! No, no!" Lanky ass body running up the stairs. This is the most I've ever seen him move the entire time we were on set. I didn't know he could move like that. I was like, ooh. He looked like the Flash. He was just like, and he goes up there. I don't know what he did. If he threatened, if he walked, was like, I'm gonna walk off set. If he pulled out his dick and if he peed everywhere, I don't know what he did. But he came back. He's like, Vito, the scene's in. And I was like, wow.
Legend.
So
legend.
And that was like the big for me, that was like the big moment of no matter what what goes on, like you can go back to that moment, and I don't know, there's something about it where you had the old movie, the new movie, and it was just it fit for me.
Yeah.
It
was a nice touch. For any of the older fans, they would have been like, where do I know him from? Where do I know him from? And then it's just a lovely little touch to have in a film, I think, man.
Oh yeah. Also, I remember it's just like now to go back to my interesting relationship with Lloyd. I remember how I was talking about the look of the Creedons.
Yeah.
Lloyd wanted to put an ear on my forehead.
An ear?
He was just suggesting ideas because he wanted it to look more like the original Creedons. And the makeup girl was just like, we're gonna try putting an ear on your forehead. I was like, no, let me go talk to Lloyd. And now I go to Lloyd. Now everyone's talking to him, and he sits down, and I go over to him, and I kneel down. I'm like, Lloyd, the makeup girl is telling me you want to put an ear on my forehead? He's like, whoa. And I was like, well, I just think that would really take away from my character. I mean, I have to be menacing and be a bad guy, and I just think that I'd be working against the ear. I think that they'd just be looking at the ear, and I need to be bad. I'm that Creedon. So I was like, he's like, I would really like it that if we didn't put the ear on my forehead. And he was just like, how can I say no to that? You're so nice. No ear, okay. It was just like and that would be kind of like our relationship where I would just, I don't know. I've always had an admiration for Lloyd, and he always kind of I don't know. And one of my favorite moments on Nuke 'Em High was this cafeteria scene where I was going to destroy a cafeteria. Now, this was a whole lot of back and forth because if you look at the movie, how filmmaking goes, you try to utilize your space. So all the cafeteria stuff was filmed in the same chunk of time. So if anything is in that cafeteria, we filmed it within that same period of time. So
yeah,
they were filming the big meltdown scene in the cafeteria where everybody's screaming and yelling about oh my God, he's eating tacos, and he's melting down. So I was in that scene for a bit, but then they were like, okay, Vito has to destroy the cafeteria at the end of the day. So they're like pulling me out, pulling me in, get me in and out of makeup. I remember being like, ooh, we need Vito. No, we don't need Vito. Vito needs to be put in makeup. He's got to do the thing at the end. So Vito, go back and get makeup. It was like a whole back and forth thing. I remember getting in makeup and having Babette Bombshell was doing my makeup. Babette is the one who finalized my makeup. My makeup has never looked good unless Babette was working on it. And she finalized my makeup. And I remember she was doing it, and Katie was right there hanging out with me. And I remember just getting in character because I was just so the whole pulling back and the kind of because I felt like maybe they were going to cut the scene because it was just this little bit. Because on page, it's just Leonardo destroys cafeteria, just one line,
Oh,
so
right, okay.
this is easy something they can cut. So and it was going on. I got ready. Everybody else filmed stuff, and it was kind of getting ready to go. And I remember seeing everybody leave, and I was there oh crap, this is gonna be my first big moment as the Creedon, as Leonardo the Creedon. I was gonna fuck shit up, and I was like, damn, he left. I just wanted I wanted an audience, but I still had the crew there. Everybody that was doing double duty, they were there. So I was like, okay, you guys are my audience. I guess let's go. And so they have the the actor person's ready to react to me. I'm off on the side. Now, the camera crew had the camera really close, and I was like, are you guys sure you want to be that close? And they're like, we're sure, Vito. It's okay.
It's like, we got you
Sure.
all in shot here, mate. We got you all in shot. It's fine, mate.
Yeah. So I go and I freaking tear out this month. I destroy everything I can. I freaking flip things over. I'm breaking stuff. I'm screaming and yelling. And they were like, I startled the actor person. So I was like, and so, but when I was doing all that, there was an actor person who didn't know they were in shot, watching, gleefully watching me destroy everything. So Lloyd cuts. He goes, cut, what are you doing? What are you doing? To the guy, like, what are you doing? Why are you there? He's like, get out of here. And he's like, okay, let's set it up. We'll do it again. And then the camera crew moved back. They're like, okie dokie. These things are flying everywhere. So the camera crew, all of a sudden, the camera crew kind of like, okay, little man, you go destroy some stuff. So once again, it was this situation where like I had to do a little bit extra. So I remember so when I go again, I'm flipping the camera, but this time Lloyd is so involved. He's like, tear that, tear this, go, destroy the thing over there, the thing over there. And it's like, I think I think I broke a chair I wasn't supposed to break. I don't know, but once again, something I wasn't supposed to break. And he's like, okay, stop. And, excellent. And I remember he came out and he like, I can never remember this. Even though I've looked at the footage recently. Yeah, I can't remember if he takes my hand or he gives me a little hug. And he's like, okay. And I think he like guides me off set to somebody else.
Oh, fair play to him, mate.
Yeah. I mean, it was a nice little moment. I always remember that stuff. Now, the button on that story though is it's like 2 seconds in the movie. You miss it. You don't see it. It's like it's on like a monitor. Yeah, they do like monitor. So you don't even see this whole big thing that I got so worked up for and I was so like die hard for. It's just a blip in the movie. Like you'll miss it if you don't. It's like it's so fast. You're like, wait, what? You destroyed the cafeteria? I was like, yeah. It's just a blip. But I mean, that's movie making where like you exert a lot of energy, you give a lot, and then it's just that on screen. So
well, on that note, mate, the following year, 2014, there's a scene where that is all on screen, my friend, all and more. Science Team from 2014. Let's give some love to Drew. Absolutely amazing director. You being the main character, Chip, in this as well. Right, we got to talk about this. This is phenomenal. So let's talk about, we'll go into more details, but when you're talking about destroying things, you've got such a funny story in this film, man. There's a scene where you approach your girlfriend, you accuse her of cheating, and then you basically have to destroy the room. Now this is awesome. What? He's mad. Yo, holy shit. Jesus Christ, there, please. Can you imagine, you didn't realise, but the camera stopped filming and you've done all that scene, you're like, we gotta shoot it again. You're like, what? I haven't got another fucking TV. What in the actual script was given to you? What did you destroy that shouldn't have been destroyed? There is a lot to say in this one, bro.
Okay, so now on paper it was just like Chip breaks stuff, here or there. But it was like this whole living room and the art department, which was run by Seeger Harrison Dixon. They put a lot of extra stuff. They really filled the room, made it lived in and everything. And so there was a lot of stuff. And there was TV. There's a TV. There's a table. There's a couch. And so it was one of those moments where you're like, it was like, Lord, Drew was just like, just go over here, break some things here, just kind of, just destroy the room, just break everything. Now we go, and I remember. Now to get this girl to slap me was a pain in the ass. It was like just slap me, slap me. So it was one of those like, if you use slap, it sounds like it's just like so little, but my reaction is so huge.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I remember I was supposed to just hit the table with the bat, but the laptop was right there on the table, so I just was like, well, boom. I think they figured in their mind that I was gonna just hit the table, you know, but I nailed the freaking laptop off, and apparently I wasn't supposed to break the laptop, but nobody told me I wasn't supposed to break the laptop, so I was like, hey, you know. And so I, you know, I'm hitting the tail. I'm going all around. I'm breaking everything, and I get to a certain point where I stop in front of the TV. Now I stopped because I had knocked something over that actually had glass in it, and I saw the glass and I stopped. Because the end of the scene was going to be me hitting the TV. That was going to be the final thing to do. I was like, okay, let's reset up and let's just take it from the TV. And then the sound guy was like, I think the boom may be in the shot. So they checked the footage, and halfway through the scene, the boom is in the shot.
Oh.
So they pinpoint when it was, and then I came up with an idea of where I was like, how about I just flip the couch, and that will be the cut, you know. And then from there, I just do like extra stuff. And now because of that, I destroyed a lot of the regular stuff. I don't even remember what I destroyed because it's not in the movie. So I just had to break what was there, and this is when we get to the insane part of like flipping a freaking painting off the this weird painting that was not a painting off the wall, and then I was grabbing the tapes and you know, which in retrospect that was a stupid idea. Effective on screen because everybody sees
it. They literally disintegrate on your head. Favorite Limp Bizkit track is Break Stuff, isn't it? This is all genuine. It's like you actually headbutting fucking Darren Arthur. Look at that, man. That must have fucking hurt Vito. Like, fair play is solid, and I know that. Like, but I bet after you were like,
you see little pieces fly as if they're popping out of my head, and I hit the picture and everything. Now, at this point, there was a big debate on whether or not the TV, hitting the TV was a good idea. Because they were like, it might blow up. It might go.
Yeah.
And so that was in my mind too. So I was like, okay, as I go, I was really nervous that it wouldn't break though. They'd just be like this whole like little like, boop, and just not break. So for some reason I hit it on the top, and then I go for the back, and it just breaks right away. No explosion, no whatsoever, and I'm pissed because I had all this fear in me that it was just gonna blow up. I was so like, I mean, half the reason I think I was destroying other stuff was to avoid having to break the damn TV, because I was like breaking everything else. So if this doesn't work out, at least we have all this other stuff. But it was just like, it came so easy. It was just like, and I just was like, fucking pissy shit, motherfucker.
It's a fantastic scene, man. Like, literally, the way you, like, just completely go off the rails, bro. You can see my reaction, loving it. And then TVs are no joke. If you know these old school TVs, they are no joke, man. So respect to you actually smashing through that as well. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because it is heavy. I mean, I remember everyone had to leave the room because they're like, oh, let's make sure, because like something came up. It was like a cautiousness of like, you know, like whatever came out of it, because the TV was on. So even though it didn't explode, there was still like a worry of maybe, you know, something came out of it. You know.
Yeah.
And I remember the director told me, not the director, the director of photography was just like, don't look directly at the TV when you do it. And I looked directly at it. I don't know why. I was like, I did not heed caution. I was just like, eyes open. I was like, I did not listen to that. I was like, so if it blew up, it would have been a fun time for me. But
well, talking about the dangers on set, there was actually other moments, wasn't there, where there's that scene where you gotta jump out the window on that one guy where you kept smacking your knees, didn't you, as well? Do you want to talk a bit about that one as well? Nice. Yo, you've been playing some video games, you have, mate. I was wondering why he had quite a lot of padded stuff for that. And then he slaps him. Yeah. Look at this. Come on, Vito. Well, you can say what you want about me. I'm clearly a fan of his, but I think these guys are obsessed fans of him. Look at that. You know, just line up. I'm sure he'll sign your autographs one at a time. Come on.
So a big fella here, and I'm right there. And now I'm jumping off, but he was so close to the window that my knees kept hitting the windowsill. And it was just like, Matt, can you move? Just give me a little more space. And he's like, wouldn't do it. So then I get really mad, and I just kind of go. And I nail it. His big ass hits the ground, and I pick up the bat, and I jump, and I pop him in the stomach with my legs.
It's amazing.
I know him. So in my head, I had it that he was messing with me, because I was like, kept telling him, like, my knees are hitting the windowsill. Please move forward. And it was just one of those things where he just wouldn't do it. And I was like, why are you not computing this? I need you to move forward.
Well, you made him move forward down on the floor.
Now that was me jumping out the window was not a planned thing. They suggested, can you jump out the window and like land on Matt? You know, so
okay.
It was something I had to figure out. Like, okay. Now, in retrospect, I was like, it's kind of fucked up what I did, because it was like the blinds were there. I mean, the window blinds were there. So if you see it, when I fly out, it goes like this.
Yeah.
It flies up. If you really look at it, it's like, I literally like, whoo. So that's how come I was like, can you move forward, fool? I was like, I'm going blind for a second, you know?
Well, to be honest, it worked out for the better, because it's such a funny scene.
Yeah.
Leading up to the whole chase, which I didn't know until you told me previously, the whole chase of you being barefoot running around the woods. Are you actually running barefoot through there, mate? Because, like, it's easy to prick your fucking foot on something. That would kill. The original take got completely lost footage-wise. Did it get corrupt or got lost or something, and you have to redo it all again?
It was something I don't know exactly what happened. I think somebody forgot to upload it, and then they filmed over the footage.
Oh, right, okay.
I think that's what happened. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was one of those, like, they didn't upload it. It was something like that, and they gave out the wrong disc. You know, who's ever uploading the footage, I don't know who, you know. But I remember that they were very hesitant. Drew was very hesitant, like, Vito, we lost the footage of the forest scene, so we need to go back out there. I was like, okay. In my mind, I was like...
Yeah, especially, man. Like,
now, there's something you should know about the Virginia woods. They got these little leaves with thorns on them. Like these little thorned leaves all over the fucking place. So the first time I did it, I was like, okay, my feet were all messed up. I remember that the very nice crew, they like got me like a thing to put my feet in at the end of the day. They're like, it was very nice. They took care of me. I mean, the crew was so nice. Yeah. They took care of me after. So to go back out there again, I was like, now the same thing happened like with Mr. Bricks. Going back out there again, I amped myself up again. I was like, let's do this. So I kind of forgot to double check something, because when I jump, now there's that scene where I jump on the dock and snap somebody's neck.
What? Look at that! Wow. Did I miss out on the game Hitman 3 when you could get Vito's skin? Because I don't remember that. They fucking should have. This dude's nailing it.
Yeah. In between the times that we filmed, a storm had came and loosened up the boards. I wasn't privy to that. So I thought it was the same old dock. So when we do the scene, I'm going full out. I jump on there. I land. A nail had popped up, and it skid the bottom of my foot. And I did the scene, did snap, and ran off. So when you see that scene, I messed up my foot and ran off, because it's just that one take. And I'm just there like, oh crap. And that was the first thing we shot that day.
Yeah, because you continued shooting for the rest of the day. Yeah, you continued shooting.
Yeah, Now, luckily, it was like a dry rip. It was open, so it wasn't like bleeding everywhere. You know?
Yeah, but they're painful.
it's
Them
an
ones are
open wound with
so
no blood.
painful. They're just like every little
Yeah,
touch to it is just like fuck.
Yeah. So the whole rest of the day of me running around, and it was just, you know, on that freaking foot. And I remember I had Zach there that day because Zach was one of the pink guys. Zach,
Right.
if you watch this, if you watch the movie, Zach's the pink guy who's on a lawn chair who falls on his butt.
Oh right, is it?
That's Zach.
Oh right, I
When,
didn't know
when the
that.
first chase is starting, you know.
I had no idea
So
that
Zach was
Zach.
there.
Oh
Yeah.
cool.
So Zach was there, and it was nice having Zach there. And I remember because he was just kind of like, "You okay, buddy?" I was like, "Ah, fucked up my foot, son of a bitch."
Yeah, fuck.
And but I remember, I mean, there was just but I remember I had it in my head that, you know, we were doing something good, and I just needed to just keep going. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
or
like
just
I
stupidity,
slightly.
and I should have just gone to the hospital.
Well, there is that option, but nah, fuck that. Like, you know, why be logical when it can be stupid, I say. I did jump ahead, though. How did you actually get involved in this? Because obviously, as you said, Drew Bolduc, you know, massive respect to you, Drew, mate. Absolute legend, like, you know what I mean? Big up, Drew. Like, did he approach you to get involved in this? What was the deal with you actually becoming Chip? Because Chip is the main guy. Like, how did you feel when you found out about that?
Well, I was reminiscing about my time on Nuke High. And I sent a message out to him randomly where I was like, "Hey, man, I appreciate what you did for me, you know, with that scene. I hope we get to work together someday." And he was like, "Oh, actually, I have a Kickstarter going on. I'm getting a movie together. You want to audition for it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Oh, amazing.
And he sent me the scene, and it was the fight scene with the girlfriend, and it was just that one little scene, and I needed to film it, so I didn't have anything to film it on, and I brought it up to my pals, my pal Matt, who I jump on in the movie. He was working at the Troma office, and he was like, "Well, come down to the Troma office," and I did my audition in front of Michael Herz's desk.
This is what men do! We scream and yell, and we break shit! You'll miss me! You'll miss me when you're dead and you're done!
I'll see you in hell.
Yeah, I fucking will be waiting for your ass!
Broke everything in front of that, and and we filmed it. We did it twice, I think. And I actually remember Lloyd's daughter was in the other room, and she came out. She's like, "What's going on in here?" She was like so excited about all this aggression, and we filmed it twice, and we sent it out, and Drew watched it, and he was like, "I would like you to play the part of Chip." So he sends me the script, and like you said before, I flipped through all the pages, and I'm like, "This is a lead part. I'm on every freaking page." And so I'm like, "Hey, when do you want to do this?" Like, we film in less than a month. And I was like, now at this time I had just moved from Brooklyn to Brooklyn, but I just moved in with Zach. This is when me and Zach are officially living together.
Yeah.
So I just did that, and this came up, and now I got to go to Virginia. Or I got to figure out how to get to Virginia.
Yeah.
So, to where I would just be sleeping in Drew's room with like 6 other people sleeping on the floor at the foot of his bed like a cat, you know. But yes. Yeah. No. To mention like the funeral home and like me sleeping at the foot of Drew's bed. At this point in time, all this kind of stuff felt like summer camp. Like I had a lovely time at the funeral home. I had a great time just hanging out at Drew's house, just being there. So, I mean, these two experiences, though, on paper, when you say, "Oh, I slept on the floor of a funeral home," or "Oh, I slept in this guy at the foot of this dude's bed," in this, I was like, yeah, but we were doing great stuff and it was fun. It was summer camp. So,
and you were making magic, because like, I gotta say, this, I am genuinely serious. Like, I go on about this all the fucking time. This film Science Team, the amount of times I see my mates are like, "Have you watched it yet?" "No." "Why? Why have you not watched it yet? Have you watched it yet?" And any time they've watched it, they're genuinely like, "Yo, Mac, that was fucking hilarious." It's like, I told you. But like, it's criminal that this film, which is why I keep going on about it, needs to be more known to the world. This generally is one of the fucking greatest films I've ever seen, bro. I'm not just saying it. It's so entertaining from beginning to end. There's no point I'm bored. All the characters are amazing in it. Talking of, who was the one actor that you worked later on, which we'll talk about, RumbleCon? Same guy. I didn't know that he was also the guy in RumbleCon till you told me. He's in Science Team, the copper, who's like
Josh.
That's it.
Josh Potter. Josh Potter. He's a comedian actor.
I will cut off your balls and shove them down some orphan's throat.
What?
What? I will shove my gun up your already penetrated ass and blow the cum out your mouth.
What the fuck?
And he's one of the people I enjoy just being around. I remember on Science Team, we wandered around Richmond, Virginia one day because he was off. I was off. We just hung out and we just walked around and just kind of like, you know, explored on an off day. And then I remember like doing the scene in Science Team. He just lets loose. You know, I'm gonna Jeff Dunham your ass and all this guys. He just lets loose, and that's him. And now there's that itch to where you want to jump in, but he's doing so well. And in the scene, I just got my mind fucked, and these cops come in, so there's no real reason for me to jump in. So I was like, I'm just gonna let him go, as he like delivers all this funny shit and sweating on me. I think he's sweating my mouth because he was just right over me. I'm so like,
to be honest, he's so
like
intense, isn't he?
Yeah, so.
Aww, Jesus.
So, but I mean, he's a pal, and you know, we don't talk as much these days. But I mean, like around that time, I mean, like, because like he would pop up on Assassinat, and he was like, he's like, "Can I room with Vito?" I remember that was a thing. He's like, "Can I room with Vito?" Because he just wanted to hang. We just wanted a chance to hang out. I remember just to be, you know, around each other. So.
Oh, fair play, mate. Yeah. So, like with Science Team as well, your character Chip pretty much becomes a super soldier. This is like storyline wise, he kind of gets his mind taken over by the alien, like you said. Who was working on the special effects? Who on Science Team? Who was doing the special effects? Was it
Jason Koch?
Yeah, because we'll speak about him in future ones. But yeah, he also was involved in the special effects on that one as well, wasn't he? I think, like, yeah.
Yeah, Drew did some. Jason Koch did some. Kaylee Brown did some. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what other sort of stories? I'm trying to think. I think we covered quite a few on the Science Team. Was there anything we missed story-wise? Can you recall?
Well, I mean, for Science Team, the reason why he becomes a super soldier in my mind was that his interaction with the alien enhanced his rage.
Yeah.
You know, because if you look at the beginning of the movie, he doesn't attack his girlfriend, he attacks the room. He gets into a funny fight with the sailor.
Go on, fight him! Fucking hell, Vito, you beast! Oh, fucking hell. Look at this, he's wedging him. He's wedging the fuck out of him.
He's played by my friend William Wallace, who's a fellow countryman of yours.
Oh, wow.
He's a great little filmmaker too. Yeah, William Wallace. You know. So yeah, I remember beating him up, and I remember him being all worried. He's like, "We gotta do that fight scene with Vito." He's like, "You should probably work it out with Vito." I was like, "I'm just gonna beat him up." And fair play to him, he went along with it. He went along with it because he's also a wrestling fan.
Oh,
so
right.
I think he commented to me like this. Expect a receipt, sir. At some point.
Fair play to him. Fair play to him.
Yeah. So, but he was game and he was all for it, you know. So, you know, bless him. But his rage was enhanced by his interaction with the alien, because after being with the alien, that's when he starts killing people, and that's when he starts, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when he starts going psycho. It's like, or his rage is enhanced.
Nice. Go on. What? Yeah. Go on. Yes. 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 Give in. Give in. Yes. Yes. Yes.
By the alien. That's what that's how I played it out in my mind. And then also like he has a connection with the alien, because even at the end, he doesn't die. He's like standing in front of the alien, Everyone's heads are exploding. He's still there. And it's the, you know, the lady who takes him out, not the alien.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right there, actually. Like, yeah. It's really... Another thing we should mention on this is, like, you did all your own stunts on you, especially the fight scene when with that guy and you're smacking each other and you're throwing each other around the place. It's like, oh, go on. Nice. Go on, Chip. Ah! This is awesome. Surely, like, you must have hurt or injured yourself there. Like, obviously, like, probably accidental, but it seemed like you were genuinely, like, chucking each other, like, you know, round the room and on the floor.
We had... Now, in that fight scene, we actually had a mat under the rug.
Right, okay.
So I could go all out with my throws and my drops and everything. That was a blessing. Because on the indie level, sometimes you don't have the benefit of a stunt double. You know, other stunt guys. I mean, I applaud them. I mean, but on any level, you don't have that. You don't have that. You know, that tool. I mean, so sometimes you got to do it. So, you know, having a mat under the carpet for that fight. So when he yanks me back and I just kind of fling my body back, I'm hitting a mat. So
right, yeah.
Very lovely. As opposed to Mr. Bricks, rewind back, where we were filming that, you know, shotgunning it on the streets of Queens, New York, on concrete.
Yeah.
With no mats.
It's all concrete. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So man, yeah. Oh, fair play, because that's really convincing. That's really convincing. I actually thought, because when I was watching Science Team, obviously you covered that mat well. At no point, because I was saying, like, shit, did he hit the floor there? That's fucking intense. Like, you know what I mean? That's done really well. Yeah. Fair play. Fair play.
Yeah, but you still gotta like give it your all and give it that intensity, so it doesn't look like you're like, I'm taking a fall now. So but you don't have to worry about hurting yourself. That's the luxury of it. You don't have to worry so much about it because you're like, oh, I got a mat. You know, it removes that sense of self-preservation that you would probably get.
Yeah, makes sense, mate. Was there sort of anything now off the top of your head you think we might have not mentioned about Science Team?
Yes. The infamous hand job scene.
No wonder you're so eager to invite him in.
Woohoo! You like the freaky stuff, huh? That's cool.
But all in their fresh sheets as well.
What?
Look at this. That's gutting the second you've just like been wanked off. Yeah, look at that. It's taking all M and they still can't get him out. Look at him. Fair play to you. You're so fucking committed, Vito, man. Like, you know, making it a nightmare for them to carry you. But hey, you committing, like, well, fair play, like. Is he biting people again? Oh yes, how did I forget? Go on, come on, let's hear about this beautiful scene. Go on, my friend.
This scene was originally going to be cut. And I was like, I saw a version of the script where it was taken out, and I was like, where's the hand job scene? It's like, oh, we thought we just take it. I was like, it's so weird. It's so, like, lovely. It was so weird out of nowhere, and it's just disturbing. And also, like, it showed that Chip just cannot catch a break because you're like, okay, this is gonna be good. And no, she starts talking about his mother. So it's like, oh, that just ruins this moment. I was like, come on, you know. And now here's a detail where we were gonna rehearse the hand job scene. Let's just talk about the scene with the actress. So me and Drew get in this. We sit down with the actress and we're talking about the scene. Now both me and him are like, you know, like we were both like, well, we're just gonna talk about it, you know, no big deal. So we're talking about the scene, and the actress has no idea what we're talking about because the producer sent her the scene, not the last page of the scene where, you know, she's like saying like, oh, I just put him to bed and then, you know, that's it. And it's like, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, like, in my head, I was like, we need to get out of this room right now. Because we're mentioning it, and she is just, like, totally, like, taken aback. She's like, what are you guys talking about? It was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Wow.
I I thought this was gonna be awkward to begin with, but then it was like, you know, it was like, but Now, needless to say, that actress did not play the part. He played another part in the movie, but not that part.
Oh, was it fair play?
Yes. So it was a misstep, but funny in retrospect. But it wasn't like, it was more just talking about this. We were just going to talk about the scene, but in talking about the scene to somebody that had no idea what the scene was about, it's like, oh my god.
It's like an essential part of the information they need to know about that.
Yes. Yes. I was like, that's a misstep. And then the actual filming of the scene was hilarious because everybody was so nervous. The camera crew was nervous. Everybody was nervous. And in my head, I was like, guys, nobody is getting jerked off. Why is everybody so nervous? It's acting, goddammit. Why is everyone so nervous? And I remember like the actress. We're not. Well, I mean, she was. It was like a first. It was like one of her first thing. Hold on. I remember. I remember the scene happened. Now, this was the first part. Check it out. That's how fast she went. I was like, and I had stopped. Now this is when I took over directing for a second. I was like, hey, you're surprising me. You gotta wake him up.
Yeah.
You gotta wake him up, okay? You gotta wake him up, and just say, I will go off your hand. I will keep my peripheral on your hand, and let's just imagine that things should arise, and then and I'll react to your hand motion because if you see my hand, the more her hand, I'm just doing that. That's just weird. Yeah. Okay, but what I'm saying. But, the more she did it, I was going off of her hand. Yeah. So I was that was my reaction to it. There was no touching whatsoever because Drew on the auto commentary says that it actually happened. I'll say this right now. Fuck you, Drew. I'll always say this to you. Fuck you. You're not take away my art, you bastard. So
you must have been trolling.
I thought we could make like some mythical, like it's like, ooh, this actually happened. Like, no, I acted, sir. I acted. Leave me alone. That's my art. I'm sorry. Wow. Leave it alone. Nothing happened. Pure acting 100%,
That's amazing. That's amazing.
The two things where I was like this fucking scene.
If anything, Vito, right, this is a reason they need to make Science Team 2. Not just for the film, just for the making of, mate. I'm telling you, jeez. Drew, if you're watching this, do you know what, mate? You could literally do a repeat of the first one. I'd still watch it. I'm not gonna lie. You could literally repeat it. I'd still watch it.
Bro, I have no idea if I could do it again.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I have a child now. Then I had no child. I was like, I threw so much caution in the wind because it was just me and a cat in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Now I have 5 cats, a dog, a wife, and a child. There's a whole other ball. I mean, there's more to the recipe now than there was before. So,
well, saying as a segue, talking about more to the recipe. This cake ain't finished. This cake ain't baked, mate. This is only part 1. I think we're gonna have to do 3 parts, aren't we, mate? Is there anything that you would like to say before we sort of end this part? Anything maybe we missed or didn't bring up, or anything you'd like to mention prior to us going into part 2, my friend?
No, I think we. I mean, Science Team, Well, it's just like the lovely thing of this process of learning and moving on and going and expanding. I mean, that's just been the process of everything. So, I mean, that was probably what I took from this part of where I'm at with Science Team, where I was like, okay, now the next thing has got to be, so it's like, is going farther and farther and more. So, I mean,
amazing film.
I was trying to think of Science Team was just. I feel like I left a piece of me in Virginia. Let's put it that way.
Oh, was it fair play?
I feel like I left a piece of me in Virginia. Let's put it that way.
A bit of chip is still left there, mate. If you go to Virginia now, you might even find him. You never know. You never know. He might still be laying on the ground staring at aliens. We don't know yet. You know, you'd have to see, wouldn't you? But Vito, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh wait,
my friend.
the death scene, the mom death scene.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that acting. I gotta mention, mate, because most of the film I'm entertained. Like, you know, I'm laughing because it's supposed to be quite humorous. But that, whoa, what a change in tone. Like when you see the mum death, no way you acting. I'm just like. I was genuinely like this. Whoa, I actually feel fucking sad here, mate. I gotta give you so much props for that, bro. Dad, man, he's found his fucking mum dead, like.
You can't do this to me!
Fucking hell.
I gotta live with you, Mom! I gotta live with you! I gotta live with you! Mom!
It's actually quite sad, isn't it, really, like? Like, that's probably the only time I wouldn't have been, like, fully entertained by him freaking out, but it was actually a sad scene.
My house!
I say entertained, you know, me, like, going, fair play, it was actually done well. Fair play, dude.
Are you sure that she is dead?
I'm pretty fucking sure.
Sir, calm yourself. I really don't like
to hear
that kind of excessive language.
Pathetic.
She's dead! She has no fucking face!
Sir, again, I'm going to need you to calm down.
Fuck you!
It's rude, don't talk to me like this. The guy's
talk to you that
mother
way.
dead.
My ex-husband used to talk to me like that.
Like, she's freaking.
He beat me all the time.
Are you kidding me?
Fuck.
Well, I think I was, because there's the big joke of the scene was like, you know, the emotional element and then the head. The head not being there
She's
at all.
got no fucking head. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's. I think I'm. If I could pat myself on the back for one thing, is that I'm a master of the dramatic lead up to a joke. I think I'm pretty good at, like, you know, like doing something extraordinarily serious up to a joke.
Yeah.
You know, I do it a few times in other stuff too, and I just remember having to. My theater teacher Mickey was in the hospital during that time.
Oh, really?
I just found out about that while I was on set, that she was in the hospital. So I kind of delved into that idea that, you know, what if she wasn't around? So that's where I got the, you know, the energy for that scene, because I was like, you know, just thinking about that, and it was like, you know, and going all out and just doing different things to kind of keep in line with who Chip was, you know, because didn't want to bring too much of me into it. Because I think I did that once on Mr. Bricks. It was actually a scene that's not in the movie, but I brought a little bit too much of me into that scene. But here I had to, like, massage how I would feel with how Chip would react to it, you know, by degrading and yelling and screaming and making it selfish for a moment, then back to being, you know, about him. So it was back and forth, and, you know, like I said, it all leads up to the head. So
yeah,
I'm glad that, you know, it hooked you, and then you were like, she has no fucking head.
Yeah. That's, I mean, it is fantastic, man, because he does catch me. I'm just like, oh, that's so sad. And just a response then, it's like within, like, the space of a minute, I'm like, and then I'm pissing myself laughing. Like, fantastic work, mate. What can I say? Like, you know? But, Vito, all I want to say, though, thank you so much for all your time. You've been so nice. We've gone on longer than we planned. So, I really appreciate that, man. I know we're going to do probably a part 2 and a part 3 down the line. But yeah, is there anything you'd like to say to any of the viewers before we leave you for the part 1, my friend?
Well, I just want to say I appreciate anybody that's been enjoying, you know, what I've been doing and Mac's reactions to what I've been doing, and, you know, so I appreciate it, and, you know, that's all. I mean, because I'm just a goofy artist, so it's like, you know, if you can get some pleasure or distraction from what's going on, hey, that's the rub, babe. So, hey, I'm glad.
Amazing, man. Well, thank you for your time, Vito. So until part 2, viewers, look out for part 2 coming soon. And Vito, can't thank you enough for your time, my friend. Absolute legend.
Thank you, buddy.
Take care.
Thank you.
Maniacal Mac.